Hi, thank you so much for having me. Before I share my screen, I just want to give some context. So I've been working on social media and audience engagement for almost 10 years. And I feel in that time, everything has changed so much. Like we have gone around in circles and back. Like I remember when I just started working at the Times of India, like the whole goal was to build us, our brands on social media. Like the strategy was forget the website, like just make sure that you have great audience on social media. And there are a lot of reasons for that. And now in the last couple of years, how, there are a lot of reasons for which like algorithms have changed, and like the kind of returns we would get from social media, they have changed. And now we have gone back to the original strategy where we've gone back to building our websites and focusing more on that. So that has been, I feel like, a really interesting sort of 360 degree or 180 degree thing we have done. So I'm going to share my screen. Just okay. Okay, so before I start talking about, what Scroll is and what our audience strategy is, so Scroll was started 7 years ago, which sort of makes us an infant in the media industry. But in India and what's called the alternative media, Scroll was the first media organization. So in that sense, I guess we are, I don't know, like the older ones. Scroll was started with this philosophy that, we'll cover the news that matters and the things that make life worth living. And I feel till date, this is sort of like the philosophy that we follow in terms of whatever we do, right? Be it audience engagement or our journalism, or even like, how we present ourselves, right? Also, audience engagement for an organization like Scroll, which has a hybrid kind of a business model where we rely on not just advertising but reader revenue and a lot of other things, is very different. Looks very different than what it would look like for an organization that's driven by ad revenue or that's solely driven by reader revenue, right? So my presentation sort of based around that, and like for us, audience engagement is not just limited to social media, right? For us, audience engagement is also how we present ourselves on the site, like what our UI looks like, how we do on Google, right? What SEO looks like for us, how we present ourselves on Facebook, how we engage with our contributors, how we engage with our supporters. So, okay, so moving on. 1 second. Yeah. So just like some context about what kind of journalism Scroll does for people who haven't heard of us. So Scroll publishes really high quality news. Plus, we're not just limited to news. I would say like journalism, like news in that sense, very quintessential in definition of news would be around 30-40% of what we do. We do some very high end culture writing and sports writing, and we cover health intensively. Even before the pandemic, we do some really great cinema reporters. I'm obviously biased, but I think, especially with our cinema and our sports, we really are the leading voice in the country. We have, despite a very small newsroom and a very small team, we have a loyal audience of like over 10 million unique users every month, out of which like 10%, which is like the minimum bar, is from US every month. So we do have a great amount of following in the Indian diaspora abroad. So like I mentioned, like audience engagement for us, it depends on a lot of different factors, right? So Scroll's business models, basically we have subscriptions. Scroll was the first media organization in India to roll out subscriptions. And now, that has like, now we see a lot of business organization, including a branch like Times of India and Times trying them out. We also have contributions where we allow our followers and readers to contribute whatever amount they want to. We also like one of our goals, and I will talk about it a little later when it comes to what our website looks like, right? This is something I joke about, like how when I go to Indian Express or Times of India in the morning, it feels like you're playing that Minesweeper game with all the ads opening and you're just closing and all. So one of the things which is very important for us was in user interface, and we wanted to make it better. And that is something which is constantly evolving on the basis of feedback we get from our readers. So for that, like advertising, obviously, like I said, we have a hybrid kind of a model. So advertising is important for us, but we do not do the usual pop-up ads and all. We do very high-end advertising with really high-end brands like BMW, Volkswagen. So brand studio is another thing that like I'll talk more about like how this fits into our audience engagement later. Then obviously there's programmatic advertising and then journalism grants. So whatever we whatever audience strategy we build is built keeping in mind all of these things, and obviously individually for all of them. So yeah, so this is basically sort of what I want to talk about is sort of importance of audience engagement for a newsroom which is trying to be financially independent, right? Like, because we do really need to engage with our audience. So there are a few challenges that we face, like because one, we are really small, we have very limited resources. Unlike bigger brands, we cannot just like keep publishing a lot of content. So obviously, the amount of work we publish is very limited. Second is obviously we do, as any small brand, we do rely a lot on Facebook and other social media platforms for traffic. And not to be mean to our organizers, but like, we have all seen, news brands have seen a major dip when it comes to engagement or traffic from these platforms, including Facebook and Twitter and all. Third is obviously like, again, like I said, like one again big challenges that we face is a constantly changing Google algorithm, right? And also the way it works now, like post Cambridge Analytica to an extent, where it's less about I mean, if you guys like especially the ones who work for digital organizations are really interested in SEO and all, you would have noticed how till like a year and a half ago, there was like Google was doing this big push on smaller organizations plus news stories that provide context, but now it has all gone back to the whatever's trending kind of stories, and that is not our sort of what we mandate in a newsroom, right? So that is another problem. And obviously there's like business models, so drop in advertising revenue is also a problem. So we try to, with our audience strategy, we try to deal with all of these problems. So one of the this is like more of a personal thing. So, and I've been working for small organizations, size wise small, not journalism wise, for over like 5 years now. And one of the big changes that you see, like if when you're handling audience engagement for a brand like Times of India, then compared to if you're doing it for like a Wire or a Scroll, is that you need to build sort of your brand or present it in a way that it feels like an extension to your reader's lifestyle, right? Like, it's like one of those very few good advice you get from brands that have like done really well. Like, for example, like, if you're a New Yorker reader, that says something about you. So that is sort of what we aspire to be, right? Like when someone says, oh, I read the Hindu, right? Like that says something about you. Similarly, so when someone hopefully says, I read Scroll, so that says something about you. So yeah, so now focusing more on our audience strategy. Like I said, first, like a very intuitive UI user interface is a really big part of us in the Scroll newsroom. And this is something again, which like whenever someone asks me which team I work for, so I'm sort of like, I tell them that I'm sort of in the middle of it, where I work with everyone, like be it editorial, be it tech, be it product, be it marketing, be it like literally everyone, right? Because there's always inputs that you can give which help makes your readers experience a lot better. So for example, it can be like small changes in terms of UI, right? This is something we actually learned from BBC, and I'm sure Tushar would be able to add on this later. So a couple of years ago, BBC made a small change on their website where they shortened the length of their paragraphs, which led to around like a 30% increase in the traffic, right? These are like small changes. And like when you really think about it, you'd be like, that's not really a big thing. I mean, it's like, yeah, that obviously everyone does it. But yeah, so we work a lot on making sure that when someone comes to our website, they have like a seamless experience, be it on mobile or on desktop. So yeah, so we rely a lot on our audience's feedback, and we do get a lot of it. And we try and implement as many of those things as we can. Second is, of course, like we're trying to set ourselves apart, and we have been, I think, to an extent, very successful in doing that. Like, especially in Indian media landscape right now, there's more opinion than actual reportage. So we do not we obviously do publish commentary, but we don't do opinion. We focus on actual ground reportage, and I think that has been one of our selling points, and that is one of the reasons why readers come to us. Journalists often tell you, and editors and people running newsrooms, they tell you that ground reports, people don't read them too much. They don't show up on your Google Analytics on top. But actually, every month, at least 5 out of 10 top links on our site are actual ground reports. And one of the things that we have changed in terms of audience engagement when we do ground reports is that we actually talk about it in a very different way. So we don't just say, okay, listen, this thing is happening there, but we actually explain to our audience that what it takes to do a ground report, right? Like it's one of those things, right? Like, and I know subscriptions are really big, and everyone talks about New York Times, but there's only one New York Times, right? So, and especially in a landscape like India, where people do not have and are not in the habit of paying for things, let alone news, something that you get for free everywhere. So it's very, I think, crucial for us to be able to explain how we are making a difference, right? What difference it makes when we actually send our reporter to be at Muzaffarnagar or, Banaras or whatever we're covering, right? So we do engage a lot around that. We have done a lot of, so what one of the things we realized, and the best way to engage with our readers was actually sort of packaging our ground reporters. So now we do reporting series, and before every series actually goes live, we announce it on social media platforms and we do special newsletters. And we have seen like a great response to that. So people like, we've seen like, people who sign up for special newsletters or for like any specific thing, they are more likely to actually come and read and engage with it. So we do that. We write to our contributors, we write to people who engage with us regularly, and we tell them, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what we've been up to, and if you'd like to engage with it and all of that. So that has really, really changed the way we interact with our audience, and the response to that has been really amazing. I mean, I set aside like at least like 5 hours a week just to respond to people's emails. And it's just so great because, I mean, it's always great to read good feedback, but we do also get a lot of critical feedback, which has been really crucial in how we make changes. Third is culture and sports writing. So this is one of the things which I feel is one of the most difficult things as an audience editor to sell, because I mean, we write about Bollywood, but we don't do, okay, this person posted on someone's Instagram, right? When we write about Bollywood, like, okay, let me give you an example, and this is one of my favorite pieces that was written on Scroll. It's an interview actually. When that movie came out, that movie, the Ranveer Singh movie about rapping. Sorry, I'm just blanking out on the name. So when that came out, there was a lot of reviews and a lot of people writing about, just like this whole culture of rapping in India and rappers coming from small town and all that. So our culture editor actually interviewed the person who was responsible for building sets for that movie. And one of the things that she talks about in great detail is the color scheme that they used. And these are just like one example of how we do different kind of culture writing, right? Similarly in sports, I mean, we do cover cricket. I mean, that's like India's religion, so we have to, but we focus a lot on like smaller like sports which get less coverage, like we do a lot of kabaddi coverage and a lot of other sports. That has helped us kind of get like a very different kind of audience that's actually interested in reading in depth about different sports and sports person and their backgrounds and all of that, right? This also has this is also tricky for like a person in my role, because it's very difficult to find an audience for these things, right? Like I can't just like tweet something or share it on Facebook and expect that, okay, this works for us, right? Because like for a lot of reasons, right? Not everyone's interested in finding the right kind of audience. So that one of the things that we have that I personally had to change when it comes to my thinking about audience engagement is that in a bigger organization, you publish content for your readers, right? But here we publish our journalism, and then we have to actually look for people who are interested and figure out a way to pitch it to people who know that this might be something which is interesting to read. So here everything is decided and built around the journalism we do, unlike who our audience is, right? Fourth thing is product innovations. Like I said, at a place like Scroll, the audience editor role is very central in terms of the newsroom. So we do make a lot of changes product-wise, small or big. It can be as small as if like a small change in our top navigation bar that leads to a massive increase in traffic for a specific thing. Like it can be as small as that, and it can be as big as just like, what our whole page looks like and how to make it better for our readers. So yeah, fifth is what my favorite thing, and I feel my life's goal is to figure out like a business model where subscription and reader revenue really runs. So for this, I feel this is where I think the most of our work in terms of an audience engagement team comes in, right? Because getting people to pay for you once, okay, that's still like easier than getting them, making sure that they come back again and again and again and again pay. A lot of media organizations do use the whole journalism is dying pitch, and I think it works to an extent, but we have tried to sort of not move to that direction and focus more on what we are doing differently and what we are bringing to the market which others aren't. And that is where our subscription and contribution strategy has basically been like that. And we do engage a lot. We're also right now planning a lot of in-person events with our contributors and subscribers to sort of like give them sort of a glimpse behind the scenes as to how Scroll functions. Right, like we often do interactions with our reporters, right? Like, because a lot of people have a lot of questions about how someone would choose a story and why they choose certain aspects of the story and a lot of those things, right? And like I said, like I do set aside a lot of hours every week just to respond to our readers and everyone else. Six is obviously new email newsletters. Actually, I want to show some data around this, so to give you a sense of how this thing has helped us. um, yeah, okay. So, like, I know I listed all those things, and I don't know, like, I know on the face of it, it feels like, okay, these do all of these things make a difference? So this is data from a report that was published by Pew Research Center in July of this year. So news sites across the world have seen a dip in average time spent in the last 2 years, but Scroll, on the other hand, has seen an increase of 6%. Right, we do care more about time spent than page views and sessions and all, because time spent, I feel, is a better metric to tell if people are actually reading your journalism, and if they think that it has some sort of value, instead of just people coming and leaving and all of that. Right. Similarly with newsletters, like I mentioned, that we focus a lot on special newsletters, and especially getting, so for us, we prefer to get like 10,000 people for a special newsletter, then have like a couple of lakhs for a daily generic newsletter. But in our case, our daily newsletter also performs way better than what the industry average is. Like, for example, for all media publications, the industry average is open rate is around 20% and the click rate's around 1.5. But we have a newsletter called The Political Fix, which is run by Rohan Venkat. Rohan's just left Scroll, so this has been replaced by India Fix, but it's too new to share data. So the whole idea behind Political Fix was that, like, there's too much going on, right? And we wanted to, I mean, I'm stealing Shekhar Gupta's phrase, but we wanted to cut through the clutter. We wanted to sort of tell people, okay, there are like 10,000 news stories, but there's this one story which is like really important, and we want to show you all the different aspects of it. And we don't mind linking out, right? We know that we don't know everything, right? So this newsletter, I don't know if you guys have read it or not, but you should definitely check it out. So before we launched Political Fix, so Rohan and I actually created a Google form, and we sent it across to our readers and contributors, and got like thousands of people to give us feedback. So what we asked in that Google form was basically like, okay, so usually these are the elements that you find in a newsletter from a media organization, but would you be interested in something like this? Would you be interested in something like this? And just give us feedback on that. On the basis of that feedback, we built this newsletter. And it also evolved a lot in, the time span. It was live on Scroll, which was around over 2 years. So yeah, so again, with this also, you see like the open rate is like close to 30%, and the click rate is really high, which is, again, open rate is still like a lot easier to crack. The click rate is something that all of us struggle with, whoever has created newsletters. Similarly, daily brief is something we send out every day, but again, we have like great, engagement with it, and people do actually click and read on it. So newsletters, I would say, like, is something that we have spent a lot of time sort of perfecting in a way that we don't just want to send out anything and everything. And we want to make sure that whatever we're sending out is sent out in a way that readers find it easy to read. And we sort of, the end goal is sort of like the reader and not us, right? Like, that is, I think, one of the things we've learned with Political Fix also. Like, Political Fix, most of the links are to other websites and other pieces that we feel are good and people should read. So yeah, so that has been like, the good of the reader for the reader is what we sort of keep in mind. With subscription and contribution also, like I said, Scroll was the first one to try it out in India, and I think we have been pretty successful in that sense. We have around like 8,000 subscribers, India plus international, who are recurring subscribers and who come back again and again and subscribe to us. So holding on to them, like I said, like that is also something that we focus a lot, that comes under audience engagement for us. So we do figure out, like, we do work on a lot of different things and plans and special newsletters for them, and especially sending out to them. Anyone of you, if you are a subscriber of Scroll, there's a very strong chance that you must have gotten an email, a random mail or random something from even in our editor-in-chief, Naresh, who really likes to interact with all our audiences. So we do that, and we try to establish a two-way communication stream instead of us just broadcasting. We also launched contributions 2 years ago, which has been great for us because, again, being financially independent is a really big part of who we are. Um, okay. Coming back to social media, which, everyone thinks is the easiest thing to do in the world. And as someone who has just worked on social media and all of this, there are two things that I have heard at least 100 times. One is, can you please make this go viral? And two is, don't you just copy paste things, right? And that, I think the second one pisses me off the most, because this, one of the things that I think is very important for someone who works in social media and who handles these brands to sort of understand how the algorithm works and to be able to spot the changes, to be able to understand how to best use your social media platform for what you do. So how we deal with social media is very different from how a lot of other organizations do. We don't anymore rely on it for traffic, to be honest. So we are there just more for in a way, social service, but I don't think that's the right way to put it. So we rely more on engagement in terms we break down our stories there. We again do a lot of cards that Nidhi was also talking about, and we have seen great engagement on that. And we also sort of we know how just understanding what the attention span is on social media, what works, and a lot of we rely on a lot of data. And so one of the things that really work for us is actually, like I said, we're not shy, of learning from others and actually giving them credit. There was a study that Netflix published around, I think, in 2016 on the power of thumbnails. And there were some really good lessons from that study that we have used and actually implemented at Scroll, and which has led to a really good increase in traffic and higher engagement. So, every single aspect of a Facebook post that you see, be it the lead in, be it the photo, be it the headline, be it the strap that you see, everything has some reason behind it. It's a very long process that we have gone through, and we have done a lot of experimenting. So yeah, so all of this work we do with our editors. We work very closely with our desk people who work on breaking news and stuff, and for the reporters and editors. Same for Instagram, we have different strategies for different social media platforms. So we have seen some great returns, on Facebook, we reached 130 million plus people. On Instagram, which, to be honest, we were kind of late to sort of take seriously. And I think that was one of our biggest faults, because at that point we were still looking at just traffic and clickable links. So Instagram, in the last 1 year, I think we've done really made a big change. So in the last 3 months alone, we got 13 million plus impressions. And more than that, I think for me, it's the engagement rate that's important, which was 700% increase. On Twitter, we reached around 50 million people in the last 3 months. So that has, again, for an organization with a small following, has been really great. And we've been consistent in terms of numbers. So I think that's really big for us. I want to a little bit talk about Brand Studio, and I know most people would how does advertising really factor into audience engagement? So we don't want to just do advertising, right? We don't want to just publish ads, right? We don't want to for lack of a better example, all I can think of right now is FMCG brands. So we don't do that. So whenever we do tie up with a brand for advertising, we focus more on storytelling. So that is what our Brand Studio does. For a brand like BMW or Volkswagen, for example, Volkswagen Brand Studio ad was actually one of our top read stories on the website that month, because we focused more on, not okay, come please buy this car. I mean, people who are going to buy Volkswagen are going to buy Volkswagen. It's a really famous brand, but we focused more on the safety aspect of it and all of that. One of the Brand Studio ads that I worked on was around, was by a really big international firm, which wanted to focus on mental health during the pandemic and how they're helping their employees, right? So a lot of those things. So again, it's really very and people who see these ads on our site, they can't it's not just us trying to sell something, but it's also a lot of storytelling. So that really works with our audience. Another thing is, obviously, like I said, we don't want the minesweeper sort of experience for our audience. So the ads are very seamless, and they don't ruin the reader's experience in any way. So yeah, so this is the kind of work we do with Brand Studio. So last thing that I want to talk about is how sort of Scroll has led the change in terms of this is right. And like we were the first ones to do subscription, and now you see even brands like TOI and ET Prime doing it, and how that's changing their audience engagement strategy. So we have, I feel, in the last 7 years, sort of figured it out how to use all of these different platforms to build an audience that is at the end of the day loyal to Scroll, and an audience that comes back to us, an audience that is really engaged in a way that they feel like they get offended when we make a mistake. And they also have helped us stay, they keep us accountable, and they make sure that, we sort of like do everything that we have promised. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is sort of like our motto in a way, that we publish less, but we publish better.
Yeah, thank you, Karnika. I mean, totally agree with you. I think, audience engagement required both for advertising audience as well as for your subscriber audience. And I think you have a very strong content focus that came out from your talk. And also, like, you also perfect all these by experiments. That's nice to know. I'm sure that there will be questions later. So now we'll jump on to the last speaker for today, and that is Esra Dogramasi. Esra, please join us now. Over to you.
Hi, thank you so much.